Where is all the message boards? Who they've been sitting in to do interviews? Who they've been putting out front? Who they've been riding around with? Who Sharon Moore been riding around with like it's his little buddy cop? Who has been orgy all season, right?
All off season.
So then the week of Fresno State, all of a sudden now, hey, we're starting to hear the QB battle starting to trend another way. And I'm like, well, hold on, man. It's game week.
That's what I was
This is Fresno State. Like, not that they're like a huge opponent, but I'm saying like we have an opponent to prepare for. How does somebody lose their starting job that they had in the spring, that they competed for and seemingly won out through the first 3 weeks of fall camp? The fourth week of fall camp is supposed to be your game prep for your first opponent, if not prepping for Texas. How in the hell are you losing a starting job? Because I have the same questions about Dom Judice and Evan Link, right? How are we losing? Less so about Evan Link because we heard his name a lot coming up and throughout the spring and camp. He's been somebody they've had their eye on for a while. Judice came out of left field. I didn't see Judice, but it really messed me up that we're switching positions game week, right? That guys are winning positions when we're supposed to be prepping specifically for a particular opponent. So that was weird to me. And then also I just thought about it, like the reason why I was an orgy guy, right, is I felt like a lot of the problems that we had early on in the season last year with teams triggering hard down to the line of scrimmage, leaving guys in the box, that makes it hard to run the ball. And whatever you think of Donovan Edwards, right, whether or not he's the lead back on the team or whatever, that is not going to be something that's conducive to him, especially doing the stuff that they're trying to do now, gadget stuff, him running horizontally. Like I love the idea of mixing that in with the power, with the duos, with the read stuff that I think they'll eventually get to with orgy. But if that's your main, that's what you're starting drives with, that's easy to defend. The minute I see Donovan Edwards coming into motion, if you give him the ball, we're shot, because that's who I thought was giving the ball anyways.
Obvious. A lot of the balls were obvious,
very obvious, and I'm so surprised at that, because I felt like that the Davis Warren pick was, okay, we're gonna come out here, we're gonna throw the ball 30 times, we're gonna throw the ball around the field. And
that's what I was thinking.
If that's the case, then he has to shoot the rock. Like, he has to throw that thing downfield. Davis Warren averaged 4.5 yards an attempt last night, y'all.
Yeah, so it was check down king.
So a completion percentage be damned. If you won't throw the thing more than 10 yards down the field, why are we not going with Orgy? Why are we not going with the guy that y'all had propped up as, again, they never made it official. They never anointed him. They made him keep competing. But why are you swapping off of practice accuracy? That is the same type of stuff that had us choose McNamara over McCarthy. And and while McNamara did good for us in 2021, we won a Big Ten championship, we got to the playoff. He did his job, right? We all know who had the higher ceiling. And I don't think, for better or for worse, Michigan State game aside, I don't think that starting JJ in 21 wins us an extra game. Loses us an extra game. I think we go 12-1, just like we went with Cade, right? Probably. You may have some bumps in there. You may have some bonehead plays. You may have some turnovers. There are plenty of teams that have quote unquote high-end quarterbacks that make these type of mistakes on a weekly basis. Teams survive them. The teams with good defenses and good offensive lines, they correct it, they come in and they right the ship. I don't get this obsession with trying to play perfect ball. Yeah. Because that led us to pick Davis Warren, and Davis Warren threw a pick last night on one of the only passes that he pushed down the field. So if your thing is, well, Davis Warren's going to protect the ball, right? He's going to give us an opportunity to throw it around a little bit more. Well, the one time that Davis Warren tried to push the football, 2 times. 2 times because there was the one to Tyler Morris where he kind of slowed up a bit. But it just didn't look good, right? And it was honestly reminiscent of Cade's first at snaps in 23 or 22. Was that 22 when JJ took the starting job? In 22.
22.
It felt like Cade's first at bat. It was like everything was herky jerky when he was in. Nothing really felt right. The rhythm was off. Davis was getting the ball out extremely quick, and I'm sitting here talking myself through it when they announced him as a starter. I'm like, man, you know what happened? Davis went out there and he completed every ball in practice. He completed every ball he threw in practice. He probably was somewhere up there 85%. Now that they're tracking practice completion percentage all of a sudden. But yeah, he probably was off the roof. And Alex Orji is who he is. He's a guy who needs to play to show his worth. You need to play Alex Orji to get his worth. He ain't gonna be no practice. He's not gonna be a practice player.
How can he showcase himself in practice? He's a quarterback. You don't get hit. So that's
he literally cannot show you his value in practice. And then the fact that he couldn't do that and was leading in the competition so long should tell you that should give you a little bit of confidence. The fact that he's obviously not running around in camp, running read option to any real degree that shows you what he can do in a real game. He's not doing that. Not in practice. And he was still leading the competition. So why do this? Because Davis Warren completed a lot of practice passes versus a defense he sees every day.
Every day you see that defense, so you learn.
The same guys. He's probably better playing our defense than he would be against other opponents. It's not hard to fathom that he is wowing them in practice. And then all of a sudden, how many times have we done this, bro? We've done this with Cade and J-Day. We did this with damn John O'Corn half a decade ago. We already did this. I do not believe that having a high completion percentage in practice is a dead-on indicator on who your starter is, right? Because Davis Warren he's not taking the risk to make plays. This offense needs a guy to make plays. We got a young offensive line. We got Donovan, who obviously is a very I think you said it. You have to lather him up. You have to give him those touches. And with Orji being in, having that threat for him to pull it, they showed it on a Khalil Mullins run, right? It was one where Orji sticks it in his gut. I believe it was a duo, and they put a read on it. He sticks it in his gut, takes a half step forward like he getting ready to run with it, pulls it out. Just that half of decision to hold on, he may pull the ball out. He may come out around this corner, gives those guys a second thought. When Davis Warren is handing that ball off, they scream towards the running back every time. It's not going to be, especially for what they're trying to do with Donovan. You ain't gonna run no jet sweeps with Donovan if Davis Warren's in the game. There's no threat for anything else to happen off of that. Mm-hmm. They're not going to do deep play action because Davis Warren's not throwing it, right? He's not going to run the ball, at least not to a degree that's going to make you change how you're playing defense. It limits you. It limits you in what you can do offensively. It racked my brain all night, and I kept thinking that they were going to give him a drive. I was like, all right, here we go. We got punt, we got interception, punt. I'm sorry, I forgot Orji's touchdown in there. So Orji's touchdown, punt, interception, punt. I'm like, they got to give him a series here at some point. They have to, regardless of how you feel about Davis Warren. We're not getting scoring drives. We're not scoring the ball.
Exactly.
So why lean on it so hard? They wasn't even 2 QB system. They brought Orji in when it was convenient to pick up yardage. When they needed a breath, something to throw the defense off, they brought Orji in there to run zone read, and he ran for 6 yards a game. 6 yards a game. Do you think maybe that would have helped you a bit in the running game? You think maybe that would have freed up Donovan a bit if they're looking at the quarterback and not necessarily the streaker coming across or him splitting out into the slot.